But yo, let's go ahead. Let's get into the serious bit. Roe v. Wade. Yo, it's getting hot out here. The women like saying sex strike too.
Do it.
Y'all, you gonna go on a sex strike?
Do it.
Are you gonna go on a sex strike?
If I have to, yeah.
Dang, yo.
Luckily, I'm not in a state where
That's true.
I don't have to choose, between my health and
The future.
yeah.
We should just go straight to this nigga Clarence Thomas. This nigga wilding out.
Oh, the Supreme Court nigga though.
Yeah.
Justice. Yeah, he said.
Wait, I'm not even called. You aren't even good enough to be called a nigga.
Hold
no
on.
more.
So what did he say though? Like, what was he trying to get?
Now he's
Same-sex
trying
marriage.
to same sex marriage. I thought did he say something about
Contraception.
contraception?
Yeah. Which
And
is a huge one. Like
Privacy in the bedroom. Now that's the one I'm confused about. What the fuck does privacy in the bedroom mean? Because me and Jess looked it up, and basically it was saying something like essentially they're allowed to search your house except for in the bedroom, and it's because women usually, especially if the man is married, women usually have a lot more personal items that are personal private items that are kept in the bedroom, so
Vibrators.
they're not supposed to like just have free reigns to search your room. Apparently that was my guess, or that was my assumption based off of what I read. EJ, do you have any knowledge? Mike, neither one of you have any information on that.
the
I didn't
contraception
hear about
part is
that
the thing
part.
that's blowing my mind. Like, because contraceptions are not just used to try to terminate a baby or anything. It's like preventing STDs. It's some women literally use birth control to regulate problems that they're having with their cycle and all kind of shit. And it helps them in so many different ways. So if you ban things like that, like you're causing more health problems for people essentially whenever you don't have to. Like there's so much ignorance whenever it comes to the female body and what we go through day in, day out. Some women more extreme than others, but there's 6 people that are able to decide for millions of people, women who make up more than half of the fucking population, and we have these assholes deciding what we can and can't do, and I'm just like, I'm fucking heartbroken.
And it feels like that you really cannot check them. I thought, and that's kind of crazy that it's just like what nine people right now that are able to make these decisions, but you can't really check them, or we can't check them now because
And they
the
get
Senate,
to keep their position
and
for
they
life.
get
Life.
Yeah, that has to go.
Facts.
For real.
That definitely has to change, yo. No government official should be able to keep their position for life.
But it's like the thing that's the most fucked up. Like, yeah, the Supreme Court sucks, but a lot of these states that have the trigger warnings on the abortion ban, like, it's the state laws that end up fucking people in the end. That's why they always tell you to vote for your local officials, because that's the stuff that impacts you more. The president doesn't impact you at all. Your local officials literally impact the livelihood of your life.
That's why
Those local elections are so fucking important, because people in the state, they're gonna go with what they know in their state. So somewhere like Texas, where you have really big cities where there's a lot of liberal people there, but most of Texas is rural, podunk, racist, and country as fuck. So all those people, they don't fucking want abortion. So of course they're like, yeah, we're going to have this trigger on this, and you're not going to be able to get an abortion 30 days from now. And I think there's like 13, 14 states that have the trigger thing for abortion.
Yeah.
But there's a big problem right now is that they are like the rural. they are changing like voting laws to give basically the rural areas way more power than even like a city area that has more, a higher population, a
Yeah.
significantly higher population, not just a. And it's like they're always changing laws to either drown out what black votes, especially, or
Yeah, that
any other
Voting Rights
minority.
Act, like, forget that shit. Like, they're, a lot of states are gonna try to, kind of get rid of that. I mean, in Texas, before this even happened, you were seeing shit like that happens, and in other states, I'm sure, especially after that, the presidency with Trump. Like, they were making sure that minorities, were not able to get out to the polls. Like, they're trying to make it harder and harder for that to happen. That's what they're trying to take away mail-in ballots.
Yeah.
Yo, did y'all see this senator though, that John Cornyn, when he responded to Barack Obama's tweet? So Barack Obama says today the Supreme Court not only reversed Today the Supreme Court not only reversed nearly 50 years of precedent, it relegated the most intensely personal decision someone can make to the whims of politicians and ideologues, attacking the essential freedoms of millions. And John Cornyn, the senator, he said, now do Plessy versus Ferguson and Brown versus Board of Education. So Plessy versus Ferguson is, I think, the segregation suit that ended segregation, and then Brown versus Board of Education is what the integrating of the schools. So he wants to get rid of that. What do y'all say?
I think I read on that. I think it was misread.
It was a misread. It was a
That
misconception. Like,
They were basically saying that it was overturned like 50 years later. Just like how this was those came into fruition 50 years after whatever they were going against. Just like how this is like 50 years from Roe versus Wade.
Hold on, what?
So
what he was saying is, Obama. He was rebooting what Obama was saying. Obama was saying they're changing something. 50 years of work, they're changed, and what the senator is saying, this happened before. This ain't the first time this has happened. Pretty much what he was saying. Yeah. So it wasn't like
he wrote the wrong thing then, because that's not what the tweet said.
No. He wrote it right.
Yeah.
The truth is, if you dig deep into it, that's what he was saying. But the way that we took it, that's what it was actually supposed to be. That was the meaning. The way we took it was the meaning.
Hold on. Okay,
but
so what's the way that we took it? I'm confused
the truth
right
behind
now.
it. Yeah, it's confusing. So the way that we read it, the way that the world took it, I guarantee that's how it was meant to be taken.
All right, now tell me how we're supposed to. Now tell me how that is. Tell me. I just want to know we're on the same page. That's why I need to know.
We're on the same page. We're saying that we're thinking that he was talking about getting rid of segregation, or everybody going back to whites here, blacks here. That's the way we took it.
Okay.
But in actuality, if you look into it, if you go deep into it, what it's saying is he was just pretty much going after Obama for saying something about a 50-year. Something that was set for 50 years just was changed with your fingers. But what he was saying was those laws that was in place was changed like that. So
I don't know, man. I feel like y'all giving him some cape. Y'all saving this dude.
Nah, you can't save it. Those two. Like, I think Board of Education was the case that changed Plexi versus Ferguson or something like that. So it's
Board of Education. It sounds to me though. We already.
It was a dumb thing to tweet about. It was like, how like when you're writing a post and somebody corrects like a spelling error.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that.
But see, this is the thing. I just feel like we talk about no abortion, and if we it's not. I guess we say that this law is being put into place because whites are scared to be the minority, right? So to me, this aligns. Okay, so let's segregate. So now, that's why I don't take it as I think he was. I got to dig deeper, and there's actually another meaning to it. I feel like the way we took it is the way it actually is, because when you're talking about no abortion because the whites are the minority, segregation. Now that we're putting the whites back with the whites and the blacks back with the blacks, limiting possibilities of interracial relationships. If you're saying they're trying to push that agenda, I think that's the way he means it.
It could be. I'm not going to defend.
You know what I'm saying? If they're pushing that agenda, why wouldn't they want segregation?
Okay, well, in other words, the answer to the test is wrong. Even though that's what he said, if you're looking at it that way, it's the wrong answer to the question. Because those two cases canceled each other out, right, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they didn't cancel each other out.
Yes, they did.
No, the Board of Education ended. The Board of Education one, Brown versus Board of Education, was just bringing, allowing the blacks to go to school with the white kids. The Plessy versus Ferguson was ending segregation as a whole. Like black people can go, like restaurants and businesses can't not serve you because of the color of your skin. That's what that one is. Whereas the Board of Education is just going to school with whites and blacks going to school with each other. So they don't cancel each other out. You could technically do one without doing the other. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to have one to have the other. Like they could have let us be integrated in school, but not let us shop at white businesses. Still.
But the way he wrote the post is like he's trying to use it as a gotcha. Like, oh, this came 50 years after. Why are you mad that? Was
that his explanation though?
Yeah, that's what he was going at. That's what he was trying to use it as a gotcha.
But I'm saying, so he tried to clear it up when people were sitting here saying that he said this.
That's how the original post was written. They never said anything after it.
I don't see how y'all gathering this logic.
It's easy. It's 50 years after, right. I don't know. I don't know what you're seeing. You're seeing.
I'm saying so. Obama. Obama's saying that they reversed this after 50 years. Yeah, this dude but hold on. This dude is for them reversing it. So he's like, yes, I'm glad they reversed the Roe v. Wade. Now reverse the Plessy versus Ferguson. That's what he said. Now
that's not how he said it.
Now do Brown. That's exactly how I'm reading it.
He's telling Obama now do Ferguson. That's what he's talking about. That was 50 years after the case.
Now that you're talking about this one.
He's using it as he says, okay, now say how long it took for, Brown versus the Board of Education. That was 50 years. That's what he's saying. He's basically saying it doesn't matter how long something was. It doesn't matter how long something was a law. It can be reversed 50 years later. That's what he was using as justification that, okay, Roe versus Wade can be overturned in 50 years too, because segregation was overturned 50 years later, which is stupid. So it's both what you're saying, but he wasn't, he wasn't saying it like that.
So Jess said, say what you just said.
I said the Brown versus Board did reverse Plessy versus Ferguson.
Okay. So I was wrong. So that means the Plessy versus Ferguson made it so that segregation existed? Is that what it was? Then?
Let's see.
So,
because that's all I'm curious. Let me see. Pardon us as we do a little research here, you know what I'm saying? You said what? Okay,
so Plessy versus Ferguson was a landmark decision that the court ruled that racial segregation laws did not violate the U.S.
Okay.
Constitution.
So,
That
yeah.
was in 1896, and then
Brown versus Ferguson was like in the 60s. Or
Yeah.
Brown versus the Board of Education.
yeah,
So,
It
yeah,
was
so
52 to 54. The Brown versus Board
52,
of Education,
54, okay.
52 to 54.
So, okay, yeah. So, Plessy versus Ferguson allowed for segregation to exist and to continue.
and then over 50 years later,
So basically, there's with just like there's that case that's connected onto Roe versus Wade is
Whatever this
Dobbs
one is.
versus Jackson Women's Health Organization.
That's what this one's
Yeah,
currently
ruling
called.
has overturned the president in the Roe versus Wade case. So it's
Okay.
something like joint like that.
All right, so
But
so from that explanation, I see it now.
but the way that you're taking it though, like, why would he use that as the defense? Like, I understand it's like a correction, like, hey, it was 50 years when we did something. It's basically they say, oh, when it's 50 years when they're doing something for your side, it's okay, but when it's 50 years later when we're reversing something for our side, that's how he tried to make it.
I get it. Like I can see it like that now.
But
I think the main reason that I was confused was because I actually thought I was thinking the Plessy versus Ferguson was ending segregation. I had read that wrong when I first read it the first time. So I thought Plessy versus Ferguson ended segregation, and then Brown versus Board of Education got us to be integrated in schools. But obviously, I was incorrect on that. So my bad.
Yeah.
But
Either way,
It's a
fuck
learning
that
experience.
yeah, I mean,
still,
but yeah, it's crazy. Although I did see, so I said the sex, like women are talking about sex strikes. I saw in Florida, vasectomies are on the rise.
They need
So-
to be, like,
Probably, I wonder if we're gonna be getting more vasectomies here. And the
at least get male, or at least male birth control or some shit. Like, come on.
how would y'all feel if we lived in a society where they? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter to Jess, but what if we lived in a world where they gave you a vasectomy, like when your balls dropped? I guess whenever you hit puberty, and
they should pose that question to.
And then you obviously after you get married, then you go and have the surgery to have it reversed when you're ready to have kids. How would you feel if you lived in that world, EJ?
It's not something I want to live in. I don't want to live in what we're living in now. So, like, shit's just starting to be fucked up, man. Like, we're talking about something like you're controlling people's bodies.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, and don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure in some countries, this was the norm. At least we fought it to this point. Because everybody don't know what goes on in different countries. Every country is better than the other country in some way. Just like America's messed up, I'm pretty sure everybody else is messed up as well. So
I mean, that's fact.
everybody got their problems. But man, this is we're not talking about guns right now. We're not talking about
Which we should be.
clothing or fucking. We're talking about, just think about this. R. Kelly just got 30 years. I know we're going to talk about that. R. Kelly just got 30 years for a heinous crime. Giselle Maxwell just got 20 years for a heinous crime. But yet, we can't figure that shit out for nothing. We can't figure out where these sex trafficking rings are. We can't, human trafficking rings. We can't figure out a whole lot of stuff.
Well, you
But we
already
damn
know.
sure can.
They know where the
EJ, you the
what that is.
conspiracists. You
But
know
dang,
exactly why they don't
Okay,
have
now
that.
you wouldn't have
They
cut me
profit
off,
off it.
goddammit. I'm trying to
My
build
bad.
something.
My
Yeah,
bad.
let me
Let me
build.
cook this.
Let
You
me
know what I'm
cook.
saying? Let me drive this boat. You just ride
Ride
along.
a boat.
And when I need you, I throw the life.
All right, Captain. My
Nah,
bad. My
but
bad.
for real
Skipper.
though. But for real though, if like it's real stuff going on, and you're making up stuff. This is a make-up problem. You're making up a problem in a country that has problems already,
Right.
Yeah.
and now they just changed to where they don't care about climate control.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Which
saw
is
that.
fucking
Yep.
nuts.
We're worrying about. So now you don't want us to have a Earth,
To have all these
about to blow
babies
up.
on.
Yeah, that's
but
what
you want us to have babies for the motherfucker.
yeah,
that's what
I
I'm.
don't
That's
get
what I
it.
be
It makes
talking
no
about.
I don't
fucking
get
sense.
it. You want us to repopulate the Earth so it can just blow up for no reason,
Right.
just scorching hot for no reason.
Yo, I felt the
It's
same
a lot
way.
of dumb stuff going on.
I felt the
and then
same
they
way
do
about
even
COVID.
dumber stuff. Be like, y'all are hypocrites. Y'all want us to have babies, but you want them to die.
Right.
Y'all want us to have babies, so y'all can just. We don't even have a place
And
for
you
them to stay.
And you don't
Yeah.
care about the babies once they're fucking born.
Yeah.
Like you literally care more about the baby while they're in the womb before that's the only time you care about this kid. You don't care about the kid after that because then shit would not be the way that it is. Every kid should be able to get a fucking meal at the very least and have a good place to stay. Instead, they're in foster places that have already been shown to be corrupt over years and years and years. We know how fucking corrupt that shit is. So actually care about the fucking kids if you want them to be born.
I was reading this thing. It was just about statistics, and I was like just skimming through it. I can't, so don't quote me where it's at. But this is one of the best statements that I could give y'all from what I read. The girl said, "I can be a mother who can't support my child, and because I can't support my child, CPS can come take my child."
I saw that.
And then they was give the child to somebody else and pay that person to take care of my child,
That
but won't
is
give
wild.
me the money.
Right.
That is
They
wild.
won't give me the money, but they would give somebody else the money. They would take my child
Yeah.
and then give somebody else the money.
To take care of
And
my
here
child.
I am. Yeah. And then if you get a job and try to get your child back, I know at one point I seen that they were trying to, if you get a job and you work your way back into trying to get your child, once you get your child back, you have to pay the government the money that they use to give to somebody else
Right.
for your child.
Which is
Like
crazy.
it's just crazy.
Fucking insane. We can't even
makes
fucking
no
we can't even
sense.
feed the kids that we have here right now. Why?
And we can't even protect them when they're getting shot at either.
Right.